I thought I'd do a really quick little video blog to wrap up my Mount Hotham training camp from the last couple of weeks. So if I go back to the beginning, I headed off to Mount Hotham from Sydney, where I did a couple of days of free skiing and actually got to watch some of our alpine athletes competing in the ANC Cup, which was really cool to see some of our younger athletes in alpine coming up and racing against some really, really good competition internationally. The weather was beautiful, and I actually got to take advantage of that and go and do a photo shoot with Carbon, who are our uniform supplier and personal sponsors and great friends of mine. So it's always really cool to get to go and do a photo shoot, but particularly it was really cool to go and do it in a new environment. I've been going to Mount Hotham since as long as I can remember. We've always had races down there through children, through alpine and FIS, and obviously in the last decade in ski cross. But I actually got to ski the whole mountain, and I really have never done that before, and got to get some cool shots with Chris Hocking, who's a great photographer and who's taken over the media management for Hotham and also for Carbon. So it was really cool to get to go and get some sweet shots. I actually even made front page of the local rag down there, which was pretty cool. And just get my feet back in my boots for a couple of days before my official start of my ski cross camp. I got to train alongside my US buddy Tyler Wallish. He is a young up-and-coming ski cross athlete. He's been doing ski cross for a while and recently has just been, getting better and better and better. So it was cool to have a couple of days just him and I testing out the track and making sure that the track worked for us as well as for our younger athletes. So that was really fun for me to train with him and to chase the boys is, a good skill to have. And yeah, it was really cool, beautiful weather down there before the Canadians arrived for our official training camp. So in rolled the Canadian World Cup and development team. Most of the athletes attended the camp, or at least a portion of it. An athlete who's just retired, who is the current Olympic gold medalist, Kelsey Sewa. She has retired, like I said, and was getting married just last weekend, so a few athletes had to leave the camp early. But for the most of the camp, we had the current world champion, Marielle Thompson, and Olympic silver medalist, Britt Phelan, with us in Australia. So that was really great to have some good quality athletes, some high intensity training, and also some high intensity racing. So we had 4 ANC races in Hotham. We had varied weather conditions and varied scheduling. But overall we had really, really great race training. Whilst we were actually racing, it's not a World Cup, so it's an opportunity to apply and change new things and kind of just refine your ski racing process in a little simulation race, basically. So I had some good results, which was really cool. I had a 4th, 2 seconds, and a 1st. So I'm happy to come back with some hardware. For those of you who haven't seen our medals in Australia for winter sports, I personally think that they're some of the coolest medals out there because it's very clear that they're from Australia. So I don't know if you can see that. We've got our skiing kangaroo on our medals, which is pretty cool. And I know that the international guys love being able to take a little piece of Australia home with them too. The whole national team was there for Australia, which was really cool. So we had the successful return of Anton Grimace, as well as Doug Crawford and Robbie Morrison racing. And then we had some of our development team athletes too. So really, I think that there was actually more girls than boys in the race, which was pretty cool. Doesn't usually happen that way. So it was cool to have just so many people around and the vibe was really great, like a constructive, competitive, but not destructive, like a really constructive training camp, and everyone's attitudes were really good. And it does help when it's like spring-like weather. We had plus 5 degrees and sunshine a lot of the days, but we were put to the test a little bit towards the end of the camp, where we were faced with the return of winter and a big snowstorm, challenging visibility, challenging snow conditions. For me to practice my racing in those conditions is really important. I don't tend to do well when it's not a sunny day, so I need to practice intensity and self-belief in those what would normally be kind of sketchy conditions. So yeah, overall, like, it was a really great training camp, and I can't wait to get back on snow in a couple of weeks in Susvay in Switzerland. So I've just returned to Sydney, where I'm going to prepare for that camp, that next European camp. I'm going to be working a lot on my conditioning work. We're going to be training at about 3,500 meters each day, and I live at sea level at the moment. So it's really important for me to make sure that I'm in the best possible fitness level, strength and cardio wise, so that I can get the most out of my training camp. I can have less days off and have really good quality training on snow. So I'm really, really excited to get back on snow, which is crazy because I've only just got out of ski boots. But don't worry, in the midst of all of that, I am back in Sydney. I'm going to be hitting the gym really hard, but I'm also going to be hitting the beach as hard as possible. You can tell here I have a beautiful goggle mark. The rest of my body is the whitest as it's probably ever been. So I'm going to be trying to get some vitamin D on this very, very white bod of mine, get nice and salty and sandy at the beach, and spend some quality time with my beautiful friends and my fantastically supportive family. I will be heading back down to Jindabyne a little bit for some friends' wedding, and maybe do a little bit of skiing towards the end of the month before I go back to Europe. But mostly I will be home and just try and stay a little grounded here and settle into a nice routine here. Enjoy my time with Ben, and also with my little four-legged friend who's here with me. Come and say hello, Sanchi. Oh, there she is. She's been very happy that I'm home. Give me lots of cuddles. And yeah, it's just been lovely to be home. So anyway, that's all from me. Just thought I'd give you a quick little update. I will touch base through this next little training phase to let you know how things are going. But currently I'm feeling pretty good, and yeah, just chomping at the bit to get back on snow.